Hey guys, it is currently lightly raining and I want to go around and show you some of the trees that are currently in fall color. Not every tree is there, but usually during the late October month as well as into the month of November, we get a lot of our trees in fall color. Pretty much at the start of the garden, you can see we do have a shrub there. That shrub, which is next to a blackberry that needs to be removed. Anyhow, this just so happens to be a Hydrangea. You can see it's got some vibrant colors of orange and red. It's a relatively unique plant for fall colors. As you can see, they are very, very vibrant. And the leaves, they're not all completely vibrant, but these will eventually make their way there as well. It's kind of a slow process. You can also see that this Himalayan birch tree hasn't changed yet, but eventually it will. As sometime in November, it should go to an electric yellow color, but that's a few weeks out, if not a couple. But for now, we do have a Hydrangea. It's kind of newly planted. This is a pinky winky. You can see it's starting to get these colors of yellows and reds. Pretty unique. We have another paniculated hydrangea around. I will show you that's kind of changed already. It's pretty much situated over here behind the lamb's ear. You can see it. This is a kind of a dwarfer variety. If I can remember, this is a little quick fire hydrangea. It's got a bit of orange tones to it. Here's a nice looking leaf here, along with some yellows. Pretty beautiful. In fact, as of right now, we do have a grape leaf Japanese maple tree. This is one of the first Japanese maple trees to lose all of its leaves sometime in the fall. I think it just doesn't do too well against the rain, which we do get a lot of rain here. You can see a lot of leaf litter. And before they fall, they do put on amazing colors, at least a majority of them. Not every single one, but a majority do put on these lovely colors right before falling. If you look in between here, I do have what I believe to be a weeping Norway spruce. It was planted quite some amount of years ago, I think about 4. It really does, it doesn't like bring a lot of color, but you can see that it helps the other colors pop a bit, you know, so helps cover the ground or mats it a bit. And then the leaves around it, they kind of show off a little bit better. And if you look down here, we have the green Cascade. This thing, oh my goodness, like it is set ablaze. I don't think you can get better than this. Almost all the leaves are fully changed. This may be one of the other first Japanese maple trees to lose its leaves, but it will go out in a complete blaze, as you can see. And this is kind of common for this tree as well. It's this lovely reds to yellows that give it that flame-like look. For some reason, I think more shade makes it a little bit on the yellow side, because you can see some of the things that were kind of covered up a bit more tend to be on the more yellow side. I'm not 100% sure, but I think in more sun you get more of that red color. At least that's what I'm believing. As you can see, again, if we kind of have it hidden, it's more on the yellow side. Before we move on, I do want to panel this area because look at it. It's like so full, but there's not exactly the most fall color here. But you can find interest in the coneflowers, which stick around for the birds. You can see they do put on a little bit of color as they are going a little bit towards the yellow hue. One thing that does happen during these fall months is that these flowers to the paniculated hydrangeas, they gradually turn to colors of vibrant dark pinks. They originally were a white color, and now they're more on the pink side. They're pretty much code triggered. I want to show you guys down below as well. We do have saffron crocus coming up, which if you don't know, These are a fall blooming crocus. So sometime mid-fall to late fall, these guys will be in flower. We'll see them pretty soon here. You can see a bit of cyclamen as well. Not sure if you guys can see it, but darted about the garden, see these patches of green. There's one here as well, and then one back there. These just so happen to be foxgloves. They do bring a pop of color during the fall month as well as the spring month, and they're quite interesting. Some you don't even have to plant yourself, they just show up in your garden. Others, I think I planted them and then they just kind of naturalized here. Here's a bit of a closer look at a foxglove with the raindrops on it. Definitely a unique plant. I think it would also be irresponsible of me not to mention that these guys can be poisonous and shouldn't be touched, as they can be an irritant as well. So when handling, be sure to wear gloves, and if you accidentally did touch them with your bare hands, do wash your hands as soon as possible. And if you have pets, this may be something you want to remove or place in an area not easily accessible to your actual animals, although they do kind of have a sense to leave them alone, is what I found. They don't tend to mess with them or even brush by them. I think they have kind of this telltale stay away from me. Going back to some of these fall colors, we are right next to the Ichiyoji, or Ichigoji. It's hard to tell. This one gradually changes. So I really got it for the yellow color it is said to go to, but apparently the years do kind of really depend, as some years it may go to colors of orange and some years it may go to colors of yellow. So looks like this year we're getting more on the orangey-ish side of things. So that's not bad. But if we do get some yellows in the coming years, that'd be awesome as well. I feel as if this one is going to become, or quickly become, one of my favorite Japanese maple trees here in the garden. Like, I love it. The leaf shape, as well as the colorful interest that it will bring. I think the leaves are also a bit more hardy too, so they stick to the tree a lot better. Right in front of it, you will see a Katsura Japanese maple tree. It hasn't really changed all that much. In fact, most of its change happens in the month of November. So we'll see this one probably in full color in a matter of a couple weeks to 3 weeks from now. So it'll happen, just slowly and surely. Over here, I think this is kind of a perfect planting. We've got a foxglove plant there. We've got a sword fern, and then a hosta that was originally brilliant yellow color before it kind of faded back. This kind of happens during this time of year. They go to yellow, then they change to just kind of a nasty look. It's good to cut these guys back around now, just to reduce the amount of slugs that tend to hide in these guys, waiting for the moment they do reappear in the spring month. We'll probably do a video on that soon. Here's one that's still more on the yellow side. Look at that. But it's still fading back as well. Oh, I found an example of a hardy cyclamen that is a seedling pretty much from a previous year. It starts off as this little rock looking thing. The seeds are cast, or not really cast, they're kind of dragged around by ants and then brought around the different portions of the garden, and that's how they spread. They do flower. You can see one off the side here that's kind of fully leafed out. And I'm gonna place this one back where I found it. These guys really just emerge during the fall and winter months. They make their re-emergence along with all of the what I believe to be a licorice fern. You can see a licorice fern here. It's pretty amazing. So when some of the hostas die back, this place will be filled with evergreen ferns, or not evergreen, but I want to say evergreens from the months of fall throughout winter into about early spring. These guys do spread by rhizome, and they love to be more closely to the top of the soil rather than buried too deep. They do fade away during the summer months and make a reemergence every time it rains quite heavily. That's the only time you'll really see them here. And since we get a lot of rain during those months, they tend to stick around. But right in front of me, you can see a Tamuki Yama, and it's starting to get its lovely red colors during this time of year. We're probably still a couple weeks out before we see that vibrant red color fully around the entire shrub. See a bit of the backdrop there. We got a little bit of yellow colors back there to go play nicely with this shrub. So there's a red bud in the back there. Not the most yellow, but still brings some interest. Now, I do want to show you guys the under layering, just because it's kind of important as these fall months do come around, so you can really get the feel of what's going on around the trees as they change. Right in front of me, we do have a first flame. This one doesn't really put on the best of colors, although in the spring, that's kind of where it mostly shines. It's going to be more on the red side going into November, but I kind of grow this specifically for its lovely red color during the spring month. That red bud leaf is completely stunning. If only the full tree was like that, that would be amazing. So a lot of times you'll hear there's not a single Japanese maple tree with not so great coloration. That does kind of hold true, but I want to say you also got to consider the area as well. You may not get as great color as areas that perform a little bit better, that have less rainfall, that may have not enough rainfall, or specific Japanese maple trees like this Taylor's Japanese maple. What I've noticed is that it puts on beautiful colors throughout the spring and summer month, but when it comes to fall, it tends to go brown, at least here in my area. I think in the right area, it would be more on the orange side. It's just, I think my area is not giving it what it needs, or maybe it's just not placed in the correct area. So when it comes to a lot of Japanese maple trees, I believe it's strictly conditional when it comes to some of the fall color. Like, you're not going to get always the best color each year due to weather conditions, as well as where you are situated or based in the world, as well as your where you placed it in your garden. Some trees color up better in a bit more full sun, while others hold to their colors a bit better in some shade, if not dappled lighting. And currently we are looking at an Osakazuki. It's gradually making its way to colors of red. This leaf was vibrant red for right now. I want to say maybe in another week or two, this thing should be glowing. By the way, we do have a kindred spirit oak tree. It's got some lovely colors of yellow. This one loses its leaves. A lot of people ask me, will this hang to the leaves or will it drop the leaves? I wouldn't really know because this is the first year, but what I can tell is that the leaves do go brown and they do drop. So we'll see just how much holds throughout the years. I think we'll never really know, at least until a few years in, on how this kind of acts here in the garden. As you can see, it was placed in ground 2024 or earlier this year, along with, I'm going to consider the Crimson Spirit to be kind of placed closer to this year, although it was placed in December of 2023, so technically they're kind of close to the same planting time as this one was placed in ground earlier this year. Over here I do have a ginkgo, and this one, it's kind of relatively new, but it's going to colors of yellow. As you've seen in the previous videos, we did have a ginkgo that already colored up. It was placed in ground quite some time ago, but literally it dropped all of its leaves, while this one, it's just going to color. We have another, which is a Crimson Spire, or not Crimson Spire, but Golden Spire, kind of out closer to the front, that's kind of going to lovely colors of yellow. In fact, here is the Golden Spire ginkgo. It's going to be more on the narrow growing side. It is dropping all of its leaves now that I've come over here and taken a look at it. Hopefully we get better yellow colors as the years progress. You can see here some of the yellows, but it is a little bit on the green side as well. Oh, the rains are coming down a bit more. But let's take a look at this Bini Sukasa. So here, you can see it's starting to change the colors of reds and kind of, I want to say peachy oranges is what it's going to go to. This tree usually does that each year. You can see it goes from that kind of green color and then goes to like the reds, and then eventually colors up a little bit better. It holds to its leaves as well pretty well. I think in more shade, some of the leaves look a bit more on the pink side. At least that's what happened last year. I've honestly should have shown this one some days back, but it's lost almost all of its leaves. It was kind of like this vibrant yellow color a few days ago before all the heavy rains, and the rains came down and knocked off a majority of the leaves. So poor thing. This is a varieties. It's just, I think the leaves weren't meant to hold all that rain. You still have some color on it though. This one's a bit of a slower grower. This is the Summer Gold. So Summer Gold is usually more on the yellow side during the spring months, and then during the fall months it kind of gradually goes to a color of red to orange. So we get that going on. It's a pretty lovely tree. It does have a few evergreens for its backdrop. Also got an Ukon here in this area too, so Ukon will go to colors of yellow, but I think this year we're not going to get the best color, to be honest with you. We'll see. But it looks pretty cool. It has like this lime green color look to it when it comes to the branching as well as some of the leaves, and as they gradually change, it just lightens up the area. So while Summer Gold turns from those colors of yellow, this one lightens up a bit. Then also down below here, I don't know if you can see it, but we've got some yellow hostas and then a bunch of bobo hydrangeas. Now over the years I loved bobo hydrangea, but I'm starting to love the little quickfire a bit more, so I might end up changing these out for little quickfire. In fact, I already started the process like a couple years ago. I put a little quickfire here and a little quickfire here to cap things off. So I'm gonna replace these little by little, or not these, but the bobo hydrangeas little by little, as they're not really the best fall color, nor the best at flowering, at least in my opinion. They best at flowering. I mean, like, not like they don't profusely flower. As you can see, there's a ton here. They just don't give me that oomph that the little quickfires do with the dark, rich colors and the lovely fall color leaves. You can see here on this quickfire, it's got much bigger flower heads. The leaves eventually will go to colors of bronze and orange and yellows. And I did show a video. I'll see if I can find a clip. But these things, right now, they're kind of like more faded or muted. During the summer to early fall month, they are this really rich dark red color or dark pink color. Hard to explain. But moving on to more of the Japanese maple trees, we do have an Asakazuki here. This one is going to a lot more deeper reds than the other. You can see it's changing a bit quicker out here in more full sun. This is also the Akame Osakazuki. So it's not the regular Osakazuki, it's the Akame. I want to say a little further into November, and we should be completely red. Wow, look at this leaf here. Someone asked me about a fire glow, or I want to say a few days back. My fire glow currently isn't vibrant red yet. That's going to happen more later in the season, probably more in November. And you can see in the background there is a Sango currently nearby my planter's mess. Sango will go to colors of orange. It's already starting, just gradually. In fact, this is a fallen leaf. This one's completely kind of orangish red. You'll see it here more on some of the tips as well. This maple gradually changes more towards the month of November, so be prepared for that. Over here, we do have a fairy light. Now, this fairy light looks kind of similar to the Cascade or green Cascade. You can see it's got vibrant, fiery colors. This one's also kind of a slower grower. Currently sits, what I want to say, to be maybe 3 foot tall, possibly a little bit taller, maybe 4 foot tall. I can't really tell. And it's just about the same in width. This one's quite the old variety. This is a Sango kaku, Japanese maple tree. It does get very yellow in color. In fact, if you can see it, it's got like kind of oranges towards the tips and then yellow towards the inners. Pretty brilliant. Definitely one of my favorites for fall color or the fall months. As you can see, it's quite the Goldilocks of trees. Quite stunning. You can even see that some of the branches are going towards the coral colors here soon. I think it's kind of hard to see with the lighting here. It's kind of a gray day. And this one was planted in the year 2020, so it's been here for some time. And it's definitely quite the specimen so far. In fact, we have an Oshiobini behind it, which will eventually go to more colors of orange-red. There's a bit of sampling for you on Oshiobini. Currently going to its colors of red, but gets kind of more on the orange hue side. Found the perfect sample here. You can see the leaf. So gets reddish but orangey at the same time. One of those trees that's kind of difficult to explain the color. This is one of the newer planted trees, the Katsura. You can see this is the one that I said fried up a bit, but I left all the leaves alone. It's still going to fall color, but it's not going to look the best towards the tips. This Katsura will do a lot better during the coming years or years to follow. So right now we're not going to get the best of shows, but the following years, yes, we will. One of my best fall color trees is this Apollo maple. Now this Apollo maple does get these lovely colors of orange, red, yellows. It's quite brilliant to be exact. Some years it falls more on the orange side, some years more on the yellow side. I believe last year it might have been more on the orange side, and this year more on the yellow. If you're unaware of this specific maple, this is a dwarf. So, or not a dwarf, but a kind of more on the columnar side of maples. I think, if I can remember correctly, it gets maybe 10 foot wide and pretty gosh darn tall. And I find this sugar maple holds to its leaves a lot later in the year rather than the fall fiesta, which has already lost all of its leaves. But before it did go to vibrant colors of kind of like a red orange color. Over in this area here, I do have a Tobi Oshio Japanese maple tree. This one is starting to go to colors of red and orange. As you can see towards the top, it kind of lights up a bit. Been here since around 2020, quite the slow grower. It's kind of like fire engine colors or flame colors during the months of fall, or probably October through November. Well, not really, because we're just ending October, but through the months of November. And the colors kind of vary throughout the tree. So some places it's a lot more on the yellow side, others it's more red. In my garden, I have like 2 autumn moon full moons. This is one of them. You can see it's got like this lovely orange color with dashings or darts of red across it, giving it kind of an orange appearance. Look at that leaf there. Beautiful. And we have another one which it gets a bit more sun than the other, but it hasn't colored up a lot quicker. So I think we'll have long-lasting autumn moon color. This one's a bit larger as well. Maybe that's the differential factor that's causing it to hold to its green color a lot longer, maybe. Not 100% sure, but I do know it's on its way to changing. As you can see here, we've got an orange leaf. Beautiful thing. This one was planted in 2021. Quite the slow grower. I think it sits around maybe 6 foot tall. Pretty much after that, there's no real other colors here in the garden that's really lit up. We still have to wait on like Shadiva Gold, or Shadiva. I think it's Shadiva. I'm gonna put the name up on the screen and you guys can read it. It's like Shadiva, I believe. It's eventually going to go yellow. Oh, actually, there's a branch that's going yellow. Amazing. We've got a pretty sparse Sagara Nishiki as well. It's starting to change. Not the best for fall color, but it does put on pretty color. Then we have Orange Dream. Now, I can never remember what Orange Dream changes to during the fall months, but we'll see it, and then I'll probably forget it next year, and it'll be a surprise every year. This one's kind of forgettable. It must not be the best of fall, possibly, but it does have the coral bark Japanese maple tree in the background there, which is always lovely to look at. I do want to show you guys the Hogyoku that we purchased this year. Not the most orange. It is first year, but maybe later years we'll get more orange. It's kind of on the yellow side, similar to that of Green Star. At least that's what I'm imagining Green Star would look like eventually. In fact, I don't think this is going to be the year of my Green Star Japanese maple tree, as it's not really changing and the leaves have dropped with barely any color so far. So maybe next year will be the year. I mean, it doesn't have many leaves to begin with, so there's that. Then we have the Moon Shadow that we picked up, I want to say a couple weeks ago. It did turn a bit orange with some of the leaves, but we didn't get much. It doesn't have much to go off of. So this may not be its year as well, and that's okay. We have further years to look forward to as it adjusts to the garden. So 1 out of 3 isn't too bad. Actually, technically out of 4 of these potted ones, we did have good color on the Key Hakajo. We showed it in the previous video. It now lost all of its leaves, so there's nothing to look at as of right now. But alright guys, I will update you guys on the fall color for some of these trees. Not all of them are there yet, but hopefully they do get there, and we'll show them off sometime in November. Especially excited for this Emperor 1. It's going to look amazingly red. But catch you later. Peace.